Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 12th. This is To My Liberal Friends. The war for control of the Democratic Party is still in full force, and the outcome could determine the future of the party for the next generation. On the one side, we have traditional Democrats who claim to be working on behalf of the working class, and their policies tend to enact large government programs. On the other side is the progressive wing of the party that has partially morphed into a far-left agenda that has opened the door for the Socialists to take over. The Democratic Socialists of America recently held its biennial convention in Chicago and sent a clear message to the rest of the Democrats. They now claim they're in charge. They point to politicians like Bernie Sanders, Rashid Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the best-known Democratic Socialists in the Congress. But now they have a new hero with Zohran Mamdani's win in New York's mayoral primary, and that was further buttressed by the strength of Omar Fatah in Minneapolis. He won the endorsement of the state's largest party, the Democratic Farm Labor, and is now the favorite to win the mayor's seat. Well, one delegate gave a speech that said, quote, "We need to run campaigns that win. Campaigns like Zohran Mamdani, which put forward a bold vision of a socialist society. Zohran showed that Palestine is a winning issue, that socialism is a winning issue," end quote. This was the theme of their convention, and the Socialist Squad member Rashid Tlaib delivered Friday's keynote address on fighting fascism. She denounced her congressional colleagues who support Israel's right to be a Jewish state. Quote, "There will be a reckoning for these monstrous crimes, and excuses for war criminals and genocide funders and cheerleaders will not save them from the justice, of course, that they will see in their communities," end quote. Of course, Representative Tlaib ignores it was Hamas that attacked Israel on that fateful October day. She ignores that they slaughtered innocent civilians, raped women, paraded hostages through the streets of Gaza, and still hold hostages, with many of them already murdered. That doesn't mean anything to her. I was particularly amused at a podcast by Hassan Piker and Ms. Tlaib, who said that America deserved 9/11 and denied any atrocities by Hamas on October 7th. He said, quote, "Zionism and extermination ideology built around ethno-religious supremacist values," end quote. I have to assume he's not familiar with the jihadist philosophy of so many Islamic organizations. And at this convention, only delegates could give 2-minute speeches, and they only identified themselves by their first name and last initial. And this is typical of this anti-Semitic protesters around the nation that hide behind masks so they can protest and not be afraid of any consequences for their actions. Would not want to be expelled from university or lose a job because of their criminal activity. What is most amusing is that none of these socialists have ever lived in a socialist country. They have this utopian concept of how things would work. Everything they need would be free. Free healthcare, free housing, free food. The problem comes on how to pay for this stuff. In their world, they would simply tax someone else to get the money. But eventually, you cannot tax people enough. They simply quit producing income if you're going to take it away. Do they think that Maduro in Venezuela lives like the average person in his country? Take a look at the standard of living in Venezuela, and how about Cuba? I hate to break it to these dreamers, but capitalism has built the world and the wealth that we have in the world. It is capitalism that ensures that there are groceries on the shelves. It's capitalism that creates new products that we all enjoy. In a socialist state, the state controls the means of production. That means that efficiency and innovation are thrown out the window. Under capitalism, the cost of goods and services are determined by supply and demand. In a socialist state, the government sets those prices. Taxes are limited in our current society, but under the socialist state, taxes will raise for everyone. And that is where those dreamers don't get it. They don't realize they're not going to be living in a free society with minimum government interference, but rather in one where the state decides just about everything. But if what is going on in New York is any indicator, it's not the working class that's getting behind this socialist movement and backing Mamdani. It's the white liberal elites, the college-educated people. And there's a reason. They're the ones that fear that artificial intelligence will be coming for their jobs. The jobs that are most likely to survive AI are the ones that need only vocational or on-the-job training. That college degree will not be worth as much in the future, but actual skills in doing things people need to have done will always be in demand. What I would recommend to all of them is to read George Orwell's Animal Farm, where some pigs become more important than other pigs, which is exactly what happens in a socialistic state. Those who get control of the government become more important, and they have to live like they're more important. Fortunately, this desire to have a socialistic state here in America seems to be constrained to the large urban areas where they depend on the government to do things for them. In the suburbs and rural America, where the vast majority of Americans live, they just want to be left alone to determine their own futures. They don't need Big Brother, the government, telling them how to live their lives. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.